Hello, guys and gals, me Mudahar, and boy oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time we stop using the old Discord. Now, I made a lot of these videos recently where I'm like, you should stop using Google search, and I give you an alternative. You should stop using Windows, I give you an alternative. But why am I talking about old Discord again, ladies and gentlemen? Well, as you all remember, a few months ago, Discord was one of those platforms that was pushing global age verification on everyone. Basically, in order to get access to a lot of the features you were used to, enjoying pretty much without ever really thinking about it, you would have to provide your driver's license, some facial estimation, whatever, right? Now, for a lot of people who prefer their anonymity, or in general, hey, listen, I don't want to give my shit out to a third-party company. The reality of it is that what I'm about to talk about in the next couple days makes this shit look like nothing. I'm looking at flock cameras, boys. You know, I've got a bunch near where I live right now that aren't even owned by Flock. I've just realized that there's so many other companies who are tracking your entire movements without a goddamn warrant, okay? It's crazy shit. And I'm pretty sure we're paying for it with all of our tax money too. But anyways, so 5 days ago, Discord comes out and talks about a whole new suite of age assurance methods, right? So some of them involving Google Wallet, and some of them involving credit cards. Now, credit cards are totally fine, simply because, at the end of the day, I think to get a credit card, you have to be 18 plus. So if a company does a credit card check, generally speaking, that is not perfect. It's definitely not anonymous, but it's a lot better and safer than uploading your fucking ID, uploading your social insurance number, or whatever. So anyways, one of the biggest problems that kind of came out over here was the reality of a company that they worked with known as Incode. Now, they actually mentioned the name Incode over here. They're going to be testing ID scans and selfie methods with Incode, who, according to Discord, meets their strict requirement for on-device facial estimation, so your biometric data never leaves your phone. Now, this is actually quite important, right? So this is a new era of verifying yourself. Instead of uploading your ID, what you're basically doing is taking a photo on your phone, and through a local model, I imagine, right, it does the actual processing on your device. There's a lot of programs that you can download on modern iPhones or Android devices that let you run local models on your system. And surprisingly, those local models can also analyze images. Are they perfect? No. But that's where these companies come in, who have special models that I guess are dedicated to better working in this specific field, right? So what happens when age assurance fails? If it fails, you can retry the ID scan anytime. You know what's funny about this too is that, remember, not literally just last year, October of 2023, so not that long ago, there was the push from Discord to invoke this crap as well. And it turns out that when it came to individuals in Australia who had to upload their IDs, impacts happened where 70,000 users that had their government IDs exposed, where the vendor that they were using was basically requesting these for age-related appeals, right? So again, the people that were forced into this system, yeah, they're the ones that had their shit basically sold out for individuals on the dark web to go grab or do whatever. Now anyways, let's go back to what Discord is doing again with this bullshit, okay? So what they mentioned over here is an ID scan via Incode, right? So basically the second vendor that they have, the data handling is the same. Your ID and selfie go directly to Incode. Only your date of birth is reviewed for age confirmation purposes, and the entire process is fully automated, so no human ever sees your ID. Yeah, you don't have to patronize me. I understand with the volume that Discord is dealing with, obviously not every human being is going to look at what the model says, but that doesn't mean information could not be flagged for further review down the road. Everything is permanently deleted once your age is confirmed, and Discord never sees it. Discord only receives your age, and your ID is never linked to your account. See, this is where you have to, fucking trust the big tech company. Bro, okay, you gave me your ID. I promise the ID that you sent to me is never, ever, ever, ever going to be attached to your account. Do you fucking trust them? Do you trust anything in this statement from a huge company like this? I mean, do you honestly, you would have to be completely fucking, inept. You would have to be the most trusting individual to fall for this, right? So anyways, I want to look deeper into this company, Incode, right? Now, Incode is controversial, and part of the reason I'm making this video is because it's not my first time ever hearing their name, right? In reality, one of the first times I've ever actually kind of heard about them was from the individuals over at the EFF, but also their relation to TikTok. Now, the reality of this is that when it comes to verification services, right, sometimes companies like Incode, for instance, provide ID verification for platforms like TikTok. Now, full disclaimer, what we're going to be talking about is the discussion between Incode and TikTok, because ultimately the relationship between each company is very private, and ultimately the contracts, I don't have them in front of me, so a lot of this will be inferring from what we've already seen with recorded history. So according to, again, the EFF and a lot of people that have been sort of analyzing this, the watchdogs, Incode holds onto images forever by default, though TikTok should automatically start the deletion process on your behalf. So importantly over here, when it comes to photo ID and face comparison, your information will be sent to Incode, and in a disappointing failure to meet the industry standard, Incode doesn't automatically delete the data you give it once the process is complete. So they did provide an actual link over here to their privacy policy, which I did read through. For instance, on Incode's actual privacy policy, and again, this privacy policy, ladies and gentlemen, is literally from February 13, 2026. I don't believe it's been updated since then. If it has, then they have failed to update their fucking page at incode.com/privacy policy. So we're going to do the one thing that most people probably don't fucking do when they look through all of these tech companies. Number 9, data retention. We retain personal data about you for as long as necessary for the purposes for which it has been collected or in accordance with applicable laws and regulations. For example, we'll retain your personal data for as long as you have an open account with us or as otherwise necessary to provide you with our services. In some cases, we retain personal data for longer when we have an ongoing legitimate need to. For example, to comply with legal, tax, accounting obligations, disputes, or collect fees owed, or where it is otherwise permitted or required by applicable law, rule, or regulation. Because these needs can vary for different data types in the context of different services, actual retention periods can vary significantly based on criteria, such as whether your personal data is reasonably necessary to manage our operation, to manage your relationship with us, or to satisfy another purpose for which we collected the personal data. Whether your personal data is reasonably necessary to carry out a disclosed purpose that is reasonably compatible with the context in which we collected the data. Whether the personal data is reasonably required to protect or defend our rights or property, or whether we are otherwise required or permitted to keep your personal data by applicable law. So for instance, places like Illinois, where 3-year retention, I guess, is needed, or Texas, where 1-year retention is needed. So where personal data is used for more than one purpose, we may retain it until the purpose with the latest period expires. So no, this is one of those situations where even if you're Discord, I think Discord themselves are putting a lot of trust in all these companies to basically be deleting things after like they're used. Now, whether they follow through, again, I would have to see the exact agreement Discord would have had with companies like Incode. But again, just inferring on the past relationships and just reading this, I'm not having a great fucking time. So of course, there's different rules for different states, but importantly, I wanted to see what they use your information for, right? Like, is there actually like, some examples of what they're collecting and what they're using it? So here, what personal data does Incode collect and why does Incode collect it? So the personal data we collect depends on the context of your interactions with Incode and the choices you make, the products and features you use, yada, yada, yada. So our chart below details our current practices and our practices for 12 months preceding the last modified date. So note that the specific pieces of personal data we have collected about you may vary depending on the nature of your interactions with us and may not include all of the examples below. So anyways, to go down, sensitive personal data, so including information from government-issued identification, so social security numbers, driver's licenses, state ID, passports, numbers, yada, yada, yada. And biometric information, so face prints, facial mapping, and scans of digitized images, right? So again, that's the information. So again, face scans, your fucking ID, yada, yada, yada. So purposes for collection, use, and disclosure. So in their own fucking privacy policy, they said that basically it's to provide services you ask for, so age assurance, including operating and maintaining our products, and to train the AI slash machine learning models we use in operating and improving our services. Dog. Like, come on, man. 1-800. Are you fucking serious, my boy? Like, really? You're telling me that I should feel okay sending my information to a company that blatantly just says, yeah, if you send us your driver's license, your SSN, your fucking passport, or your facial map, yeah, it could also be used to train the AI and machine learning models. Not only is the government that's supposed to be protecting my shit selling it to the highest bidder, but they're giving them carte blanche access to say, hey, listen, we're going to make our services better entirely for free, all at the fucking cost of you giving up your information, basically by force. I mean, like, dog. Are you fucking serious, dude? Like, go fuck yourself, to be honest with you. We live in a world where this shit is not only normalized, but the companies that organizations like Discord work with are so, I guess, mask off is the best term, that they're saying shit like this, And again, you might be like, Muda, you're interpreting it wrong. Well, feel free to correct me, okay? Tell me what I am interpreting wrong. Because at the end of the day, all I'm seeing is that these AI-powered companies that basically now exist because a market has been forced onto them to verify humanity across all these services, right? Again, I get it. Discord has a problem with, again, grooming, right? Nobody's going to say that there's no predator sitting on Discord, and nobody's saying there's no predator sitting on a vast majority of online social media sites. I get it. I understand that 100%. But I've always been the advocate in saying that, listen, if you're buying somebody a fucking computer, especially your kids, you should be monitoring. If it was up to me, my children would never be accessing Discord until they're pretty much close to adulthood. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up in this world. I understand what kind of creepy fucking little kid lovers you could find on MSN Messenger. I wouldn't trust my kid on those platforms anyways. I would never even trust my kid to join a fucking public chat room. My parents were very much watching if I had ever joined a public chat room on MIRC back in the day, okay? I would say that the same situation applies on Discord, right? It's like you're gonna find tons of groomers on these social media platforms, especially where you have that intermixture of child and adult on public social media chat messages or chat forums. And the reality of it is yes, that sucks. But we're at a point where in order to even access many services on the internet, we have to provide our information to a lot of these companies that don't even, by law, delete all of our stuff the moment it is used for that age purpose. Look, if there were laws and there were proofs that we could have that when you send your information to the internet or these services, they would be deleted in front of you. If that was the case, I would be a little bit more comfortable, but the reality of it is that even reading their own legal fucking documents, they don't really have to get rid of your shit until, I guess, they are completely compelled to by laws that are not gracious enough for your safety. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it's such a vague, a lot of vague terms are used in this situation where it seems like for a while, whether it be up to a year, 3 years, or maybe even more, who fucking knows, your stuff can be removed. Unless Discord is going through every single verification and making sure that your shit is safe from this company that they're working with or partnered with, which honestly is one of those things where I don't even know if Discord can fucking trust them entirely. Again, it's such a convoluted mess that trying to have any basic trust on this is almost impossible. Now, you might be like, well, Muda, what option do we have? The reality of it is I'm not going to sit down Discord's throat and basically say, oh, it's entirely their fault. But I am going to say that Discord is definitely large enough to be able to combat this, be able to at least raise some awareness, or be able to at least offer some pushback to these governments. But I get it. I understand. When government agencies are on your ass and these are laws being pushed around, all Discord can effectively do is kind of comply in a way that maybe they think is the best for the user. At the end of the day, they're such a large platform that if they were effectively to say no to the rest of the world, that would be killing their business overnight. Remember, Discord operates business-wise in all these regions, right? They charge Discord Nitro basically all over the world. By not complying with a certain country, you're risking your service getting cut off, you're risking massive fines that you may or may not be able to afford, and most importantly, you're risking, let's say for instance, you operate in Australia. If you don't want to comply with Australia, then all of your Australian Nitro users, you're not going to be able to facilitate with because the government's going to block that financial relationship. Same with the United States, same with the UK, same with any other fucking country that they work in. So unfortunately, if you're Discord, you have to comply. There's not a situation where people are like, oh, all Discord has to do is say fuck you to these people. They could, and then overnight their business completely fucking completely fucking like diminishes. That's the reality of the situation. So anyways, let's go further and look a little bit deeper into the story, right? What are the alternatives? If I'm telling you to not use Discord, what else can you use? Now, a lot of people have brought up these programs like Fluxer to me, for instance, and I've never personally used Fluxer myself, but the idea of it is that these are self-hosted platforms, meaning that if you're somebody that actually wants to host your own shit instead of using their servers, you can basically host this process in a Docker container on some VPS server out there. Now, another fun fact here, I've actually hosted my own server. So here is a Stoat instance. For anybody that doesn't know what Stoat is actually one of these services that I was playing around with. That was effectively like a Discord alternative. And it's not a perfect solution. It's definitely not all the way there, but it allows you to host an instance of Stoat on your own servers. So I went to a third-party VPS company, and over there I paid basically for about, I think, a year of their service for less than the cost of Discord Nitro. And in doing so, I ended up actually taking their service and self-hosting it. So here is an actual self-hosted instance. And you can see that about 15 people from like the Some Ordinary Gamers Discord kind of jumped into this. It's not something that I have open, and I'm not entirely ready on opening this up to a community, simply because right now, these are all people that I believe are, again, just adults. We literally just talk about Linux. So you can see right over here, it's just how to install Linux, how to set things up. And the reality of it is that I'm not ready for the whole like moderation side of things. I just want to make sure that this kind of alternative works. But mostly the reason why I have this is because I have a few friends that I use Discord with on a daily basis, right? People that I play Counter-Strike online with, Rainbow Six Siege with, Marathon, whatever, just my closest friends, right? People like Kyle, Maru, Jordan, so on and so forth. And instead of going onto Discord, and by the time when we're forced to upload our shit to their servers and none of us are comfortable with it, we can use our own personal instance and jump in and basically join the call and effectively talk as if we were on a standard Discord call, all entirely running on our own self-hosted server. And of course, a lot of these features are coming soon, things like video calling, things like, screen sharing, but as of now, this is outside the control. And of course, there are other solutions too, right? Like Matrix Chat as well, which is a much more private version. Again, Discord is a great service, but Discord is a service that is a closed platform that is reliant on following the rules and regulations. And the reality of it is, for a lot of us who just want the internet to be private, and for ourselves, I think we have to get back into the world of self-hosting. So Matrix, for instance, is one of those services where you can also self-host this yourself. You can get a free version, or again, you can run everything on your own service. And when you run everything on your own service, you basically have access to, again, something that is controlled by you. You could even run it on your own local computer, and really this kind of stuff doesn't take all that crazy amount of resources. Like, honestly, the Docker container in this should be pretty tiny. The only time it should ever actually be taking up resources is if somebody's jumping into a call and maybe video chatting. But yeah, other than that, you could even host these on your own local computers. But buying a cheap VPS somewhere in the world may honestly be the play to make, right? Especially if you want something outside of sending your information to places like Incode, for instance, right? Look, at the end of the day, I don't trust all these companies that they're partnering with, okay? And in order to avoid it, I have to get used to self-hosting my shit. So no, honestly, at the end of the day, a lot of it is not just fuck Discord, but it's fuck the governments and a lot of these creepy billionaire tech evangelists that have kind of pushed this crap onto us and have sort of forced us into a situation that we have to be doing this kind of crap. You understand? So ladies and gentlemen, I think Discord's time is done, okay? Because ultimately they're complying and they have to comply and they're working with people that are shady to begin with. But at the end of the day, what alternative do you have but to host your own servers, right? That's really the play, man. I mean, it is what it is. I don't make these videos so I can just sit here and give you another doom and gloom thing like, oh no, this is a bad thing that's happening. Can we avoid it? No, dude, bad thing is happening. You can't avoid it, okay? Takes a little bit extra work. Hell, you know what? Consider it a fun weekend project to set up your own Stoat interface, your own Fluxer interface, your own Matrix interface for you and the boys. Because ultimately, that's just where the internet's headed to. Isolated communities that at least are safe and private, as opposed to this centralized hell that the internet's becoming. Anyways, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Just like if you dislike it, I am out.